All right, let's move on, dear beloved, with our second session as we carry on the book of Revelation. We took a pause. It does help me to catch my breath and so on. So now, like I said, we come into capital C of Division 8, the events of the first half of the tribulation. I trust that you have your chart in front of you. I needed more light. Capital C, the trumpet, judgments, and so on. I did ask you to visualize your passage and so on. So now we get into capital C, the trumpet judgments between Revelation chapter 1 and right down to 9:21, which is the totality of it. As usual, we have a prelude. We did have a prelude for the seal judgment. Now we're going to have a prelude, the prelude for the second set of judgment, the trumpet, chapter 8, verses 1 to seal. Come with me, verses 1 to 6. When the Lamb broke the seventh seal, circle 7 seal. You see, he broke the seventh seal. That's what I told you. The 7 seals, the 7 seal judgment contains the 7 trumpet. There was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. It's right behind me. Another angel came and stood at the altar, holding a golden censer, and much incense was given to him, so that he might add to it to the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense with the prayer of the saints went up before God out of the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and threw it to the earth. And there followed peals of thunder and sounds of flashes and lightning and an earthquake. And the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound them. Do you see how important it is to read the text? So that's the prelude. And then look at verse 7, the first sounded. So the prelude, it contains the 7 seal. He opens the seal, unrolls the seal and so on, a document that is sealed. And it does contain the 7 trumpet judgments. Okay, I don't need an S here. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we deal with the first trumpet, chapter 8, verse 7. Come with me, it's so simple. The first sounded, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and they were thrown to the earth. And a third of the earth, circle that, a third of the earth was burnt up, and a third of the trees were burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. So, first trumpet, simply put in your notes, 1/3 of the dry surface of the earth is destroyed. Are we in the Great Tribulation? I think it's green like ever it has been here. Lots of rain, so we're not in it. The second trumpet, verses 8 and 9 of chapter 8. The second angel sounded. What's the judgment here? Second trumpet. The second angel sounded. Something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood, in like the Exodus if you want to. And a third of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. So, once again, quite simple, 1/3 of the sea life now is destroyed. It's probably, I would suggest, a meteor or a volcano. Whatever it could be, it's caused by the supernatural. Why? Because of the element of blood. So these are supernatural cataclysm that will happen, type of thing. So because it's going to turn into blood for 1/3 into the sea, like I said to you, very similar to the incident in the book of Exodus. The third trumpet, 10 to 11. The third angel sounded, that's the third trump, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star, circle star, is called wormwood. And a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter here. During that first half, during the seventh trumpet judgment, there will be a destruction of 1/3 of the sweet or fresh water in this planet. Whenever I told you, those who did in Nanaimo the study of angelology, demonology, and satanology, whenever the word star is used symbolically, it's always a symbol of an angel. Here, same thing. It's one of the fallen angel, therefore, as a result, named wormwood. And keep in mind that angels, it doesn't matter, fallen or holy angels are used to carry out judgment. In that case, it's a fallen angel. They obey God. They cannot derive from the command of God simply because God is sovereign. 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 Even during the COVID-19 crisis, with a small c. Sovereign. No need to fear. No need to hide. You're healthy? Come. Enjoy. Cannot confine the healthy. Where the leprosy, the lepers were confined. Those who didn't have leprosy were not confined. So, trumpet number 4, François. Stay focused. Yes, yes. The fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun, and a third of the moon, and a third of the star were struck, so that a third of them would be darkened, and the day would not shine for a third of it, and the night in the same way. Verse 12. Trumpet number 4, shofar number 4, if you want to. 1/3 of the earth's light source is destroyed. I don't think that's what we see right now. 1/3 of the sun, the clarity of the sun, 1/3 of the moon, 1/3 of the star here. So the 1/3 of the daytime and nighttime would be blacked out. So it's going to be a time of darkness indeed. Now I'm taking you to Revelation chapter 8, verse 13. But what is Revelation chapter 8, verse 13? This is the prelude. This is a prelude to the 3 woe judgments. The seals were bad. The trumpet judgments are worse. So trumpet number 1, trumpet 2, 3, 4 are bad. But trumpet number 5, 6, and 7 will be worse. And that's why trumpet number 5, trumpet number 6, and trumpet number 7 are called woe judgments. That easy. And in 8:13 right now, 8:13, that's why in the original Greek it's a paragraph by itself. 8:13 is the prelude of woe, woe, woe. Complicated? Not even close. Come. Then I looked and I heard an eagle flying in mid-heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 to those who dwell on the earth because of the remaining blast, trumpet 5, 6, and 7, of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound. That's the prelude to the 3 woe judgment here. So the last 3 trumps are called the woe judgments. And this is very important here to note. The first 2 woes, trumpet number 5 and trumpet number 6 are the first 2 woes. These are what we call demonic invasions. Make a note. Demonic invasions. And your third woe here, trumpet number 7, will be what? Your 7 bowls. That's what it will be. Because the trumpet number 7 and the third woe are equivalent. Once we blow the trumpet number 7, this will be the third woe, and this will give birth to another demonic judgment and so on, seen later in our study. So let's take trumpet number 5, therefore woe number 1. Are we going to make Revelation complicated? It's complicated because it have not been studied. This is not the most difficult book to study. But when you exegete the text with Donald Trump, and Trudeau and social network and so on, social media, you go all over the place with this, beloved. We need once and for all to abide in the text from a Jewish perspective and respect A, the context, B, the context, and C, the context. Simply because a text apart from its context becomes a pretext. I think that's the first time I say that. I would need to re-watch all the videos. I think it's the first time, not sure, maybe twice. I'm getting a bit sarcastic. Let me have fun a little bit. Revelation chapter 9, verses 1 to 12. Let's take verses 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. The fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star from heaven, which had fallen to the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit was given. If you have in the ASV or perhaps King James, abyss, perfect. It's a good translation, better than the NASB in that case. He opened the abyss, or the bottomless pit, and smoke went up out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the smoke of the pit. Pure, demonic, occult activities. Darkness. Out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth, and power was given to them, and the scorpions of the earth have power. Verse 4. But they were told not to hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green things, nor any tree, but only the men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And they were not permitted to kill anyone, but to torment for 5 months, and their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings a man. So for 5 months here, we have a star are angels. ASV 1901 in the verse, bottomless pit, the abyss. This is the third blackout of the Great Tribulation. The first of two demonic invasions. Verse 5. When I read verse 5, 5 months here, to torment for 5 months. It's very unusual for John to give a measure of times, but in that case he does. He mentions the duration of the torment. Verse 6, and in those days men will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, and death will flee from them. Even if they are asked not to kill anybody, these demons, but even if men are seeking death by committing suicide, it will be taken away from them. Any attempts to do it won't work. They need to taste the judgment of God. Even suicidal attempts will fail. It's unusual for demons to have, it is usual for demons to have animal-like feature. So these are not real scorpions and so on and so forth. You know, even angelology proper, the angels, the cherubim, the seraphim, they have animal-like feature. We have studied it. Not in Nanaimo, was kept from being studied. Shame on them. But we have studied it. Demons and even angels do have animal-like feature. Verse 10, verse 9 and 10. Where was I? Verse 6, we can read. The appearance of the locusts was like horses prepared for battle, and on their heads appeared to be crowns like gold, and their faces were like faces of men. Animal-like feature. These are angels, they're not Chinese people. They had hair like the hair of a woman, and their teeth was like the teeth of lions. They had breastplates like the breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sounds of chariots of many horses rushing to battle. Angelic being, be good or fallen. In this case, fallen. They have tails like scorpions. They're not like real scorpions. They have tails like scorpions and stings, and in their tails is the power to hurt men of 5 months. They have a king over them, the angel of the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in the Greek he has the name Apollyon in verse 11. Abaddon, Hebrew, Greek, Apollyon means destruction here. So that's basically the fifth trumpet. It's a demonic invasion. Should we take the sixth trumpet here? Quickly, let's do that. Second woe. trumpet number 6, second row, 13 to 31, 13 to 21, verse 14. One saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So this is trumpet number 6 in the same time. Which row? The second row. Trumpets, the river Euphrates rather, it's in Mesopotamia or Babylonia here. 4 angels leading the second demonic invasion. They are not allowed to kill during the first woe. But the second woe is more severe. Come with me in verse 15. And the 4 angels, demonic invasion, who had been prepared for the hour and day and month and year, were released so that they would kill a third of mankind. Keep things in place. Here, not allowed to kill. Here, worse, from bad to worse. Second woe is worse. So now they are allowed to kill a third of mankind. Verse 16. The number of the armies of the horsemen was 200 million. I heard the number of them. They're not Chinese. So many people say, oh, the Chinese can put an army of that number. Just tick mark, highlight, push, delete. No sense. These are not human beings. They are demons, not China. And the east here is not, when he says the river Euphrates, it's not East China. East in the biblical time is Mesopotamia, Babylonia, and Assyria, not China. No context at all demanded by the text for China. It's forcing an interpretation, hence, therefore, false teaching. We have in 17 and 18 the description of the demons, not Chinese. Come 17 to 19. And this is how I saw the vision of the horses and those who sat on them. The riders had breastplates, the color of fire and essence, and of brimstone, and the heads of the horses are like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths proceed fire and smoke and brimstone. A third of mankind was killed. A little bit more than COVID. By these 3 plagues, by the fire and smoke and the brimstone which proceeded out of their mouths. 19. For the power of the horses is in their mouths and their tails. For their tails are like serpents and have heads, and with them they do harm, and so on. This is a description of demons, not of the Chinese people. The Chinese people do not look like this at all. I would like you to cross-reference what I just read here with the book of Joel from chapter 1 verse 15 to chapter 2 verse 11. Joel 1:15 to 2:11, and you will see the striking similarities here. It's demonic invasion. So the trumpet judgments come to an end by the middle of the Great Tribulation. The trumpet judgments come to an end by the midpoint of the Great Tribulation. Today, we're not going to blow the trumpet number 7, but you know what it is. The trumpet number 7 is the third woe, and what will be contained in the trumpet number 7 and the third woe? The 7 bowl judgments of the second half of the Great Trib that we will be seeing together next week. It was a delight. I enjoy my time this afternoon. It's afternoon for me right now, made for the Monday night people. Remember your support. Remember that at the end of May we will be stopping and start again in September. We might have to look for a new place. I hope and asking God not to have to carry on with the camp, but be able to high-five you, to hug you, and accept your support in person. May God bless you. I bid you shalom. Thank you.